Hey, everybody, welcome to the Offsides show. And today we have a few really special announcements. First announcement next week, right here, same time, same channel, we're going to have Jason Williams, former NHL Red Wings player, Stanley Cup winner, in the Offside show next week. Also, check out Above the Rim. That's tonight, and JMO's channel. Really good Pistons talk. There's a lot of Pistons news. You want to get there and see that. But I see we got a few people coming into the chat, so I just wanted to make sure that you got that announcement that next week we are going to have Jason Williams in the house, and a former Stanley Cup winning Red Wing in with us. What's up, Detroit Drew? We just announced that 313 JMO's channel tonight. It's Above the Rim. And we want you to go check that out. Sent out a tweet about that just a little while ago. Okay, in the house, within the building with us in the arena. I'm just kidding. With us today is PD Sports. What's up, PD?
Nothing much, man. Let's have a good show.
Oh, we're gonna have a great show. I like that. All right, and also in the room, also doubling as the football guy this week is Seth Walker. What's up, man?
Hello, Seth Walker in the arena, as you said, in the virtual arena. And yes, I did double on the Lions roundtable Thursday night. Great experience. Good to be back on Offsides. Thank you. Thank you.
Lots of fun. Okay, our first question today, we're going to jump right into the questions. First, so Evgeny Svechnikov signed a 1-year extension with the Wings. And what are your thoughts on that? I'm going to start with you, Seth.
Well, this is definitely do or die for Mr. Svechnikov. It wasn't his fault that he got injured. I think it was the season before last season that really hurt him and hampered his development. But this is really do or die for him. He needs to prove that he belongs with the Red Wings and really with the NHL. You know, I think time is really starting to run out on him. I'm willing to give him another year, but this has to be it. Otherwise, he's in danger of falling the way of Sylvain Turgeon, who was another first-round pick who ultimately got overshadowed by his brother, Pierre, younger brother. Because as it stands right now, Andre seems to be working out much better than older brother Evgeny. So the clock is ticking on Mr. Evgeny Svechnikov. Tick-tock, tick-tock, TikTok.
Woo! Strong opinion from Seth Walker right there. All right, PD, what do you think about this? Evgeny Svechnikov. Yeah, come on, I can't even say it. Svechnikov has a year extension. What do you got?
Honestly, I don't really think too much of it. It's a move. It's something to talk about, but I like what Seth said. It's good that he brought it up. It's do or die time for Mr. Svechnikov, and hopefully he does and not. Hopefully he does it and doesn't die, and hopefully it works out for us. But overall, I don't really have any strong opinion either way.
Okay. But, all right. I do. And I'm going to tell you why this is a big deal and not a little deal. Okay. And you're going to go crazy. You'll be think I'm crazy. He's been 5 years in the Red Wings organization. Hasn't really matured right yet. Okay. Dude is 6'3", 212 pounds. He's a good skater. He's only 23 years old. And the thing about him, though, is he's big, but he's a good skater. If you listened to me last week, you understand that that's what Yzerman's looking for. He's looking for good skaters who are very good with the puck. So here's some quotes from some people that have talked about Svechnikov. This is an incredibly skilled offensive winger. Remarkably accurate shot to go along with some magic hands. He could be better defensively, but his game is based around his acute sense of what is happening on the ice and in the offensive zone. All in all, a deadly player who possesses good size, elite level skill, and smooth skating. You can't give up on that. And I know he hasn't been great, okay? And he didn't do very well when he appeared 14 games with the Red Wings. He only got 2 goals, 2 assists, okay? But that size and that ability You don't give up on that too quick, And I think that he could be a sleeper third line, second line guy. I don't know. Don't sleep on him. That's all I'm saying. Don't sleep on this move. Proves that Yzerman wants to give him at least a year to see if he's going to develop into that player that we need. But I think that there's a lot of the traits are there. Is it in his head? More than likely, that's what it is. And so I think that we're going to give him another year to develop and see what he is. He's only 23. I know he's been here 5 years. But the thing is, you don't give up on that size and that talent. That's just what I see. You guys got anything to say?
It's a lot more in his head. It's got to be in his head. I agree with you in terms of his skills. That's why I'd be willing to give him a chance. But, I guess if it was me, my patience would be running thin. It has to be this year.
I'm not necessarily agreeing with that. I don't even think it has to be this year.
Well, if he makes some, maybe takes a couple good steps, then I'd be more patient with him. And I would probably be, like you said, be willing to let him be that second, third line guy that can generate offense. Like, I'm not saying he has to be elite, but, he has to contribute, have a regular role. So
partner him on the wing with Svechnikov and then Phil. God, what the hell is his name from Grand Rapids? Philip Zadina.
Zadina. Okay.
Yeah, and then get a center around them, maybe a Veleno. That might be a hell of a line. It just matters who he's with, the chemistry that they're building. That makes a difference, man, in hockey. But also, his confidence level must be shattered right now. You know what? It's possible that a change of scenery might help. He could be a trade chip later down the road. But honestly, he's 23, 6'3", 212 pounds, who's a winger, big dude. And I think that I honestly think that there could be something to build around with him. I don't know that for sure, but I think that could be something that, we could build around. Just saying. We're growing and trying to grow this team together with some talent. This guy's got some talent. So I don't like to give up on talent too early. I guess that's what I'm saying. All right.
With my gut feeling when he was drafted, I didn't feel as good about him as I did about Larkin or Mantha. But I'm willing to give him a chance because he does have talent, he does have potential. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Thoughts on the NHL resuming play so far? PD, this was your question. I have to ask you a question then. What do you mean how the play is, or just that they came back, or what do you mean?
Oh, yeah, how the play is. What do you think of the play so far? What do you think of what you've seen?
Well, 3 overtimes is pretty damn cool. So,
Sure.
I saw one game, and it was Mason was the goaltender. I think it was Washington Capitals, and it was the Islanders and Capitals, I believe, and they were in their third overtime. I can't remember how long that game went. It was crazy. A goaltender actually, after he gave up the final goal, just fell backwards in the net. Like he was so tired he couldn't move.
I just remember, dude, we had a 5 overtime game between the Blue Jackets and the Lightning. They went to 5 OTs, dude.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
2 games worth. That's 2 games worth of over. That's like almost 3 games worth of overtime.
What do you think about the overall gameplay?
I think it's been very, very good. Honestly, it feels like we picked up right where we left off in the regular season. If I got to be honest, it almost feels like
that bad, huh? No, I'm just kidding.
No, it felt. Oh yeah, okay, no, but
I was kidding.
No, I feel it, but no, it feels like we picked up right where we left off. It doesn't feel like anything really changed that much. Like it doesn't even feel like anything ever happened. I mean, the no fans in the stands is certainly interesting, but at the same time, no, the play doesn't feel like it suffered. Honestly, if anything, the play has been better. Like I've had all the games I've watched, it's just been so much fun. And I was going somewhere else with this. No, but it's been really good play. We've seen some upsets. I guess the one I was, seeing both of the 5 seeds going down was honestly pretty. Even to me, I was like, "There's no way." I thought the play-in was almost pointless because I was like, "Nah, there's no way a 12 seed's going to knock off a 5 seed."
Yep.
But it happened. Not just one 5 seed; both 5 seeds went down.
So you think they were going down, so they got that first playoff spot?
No, I don't. No, I don't. You mean the first over? Are you talking about the draft? You mean the draft pick?
Yeah.
Or the play?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. I doubt it. Players play to win. This is playoff hockey. You play to win in the playoffs. But
yeah. The best player coming out in a while is coming out this year. So I don't know. Be an incentive for a team that's making the playoffs and doing fairly well to get them over the top, to get them to the Stanley Cup. I don't know. It's tempting. So what do you think, Seth? What do you think about the gameplay that's going on right now with the NHL playoffs and everything?
Ooh, what a slippery slope you're on by asking me this question. First of all, I haven't watched any playoff games at all. Here is why. Because I am just basically not happy about this whole thing. First off, if it was up to me, the rest of the season would have been canceled. Or if you were going to resume play, do it with 16 teams. Don't make it 24. I mean, yeah, people will be like, "Oh, but what about the other teams? They didn't play an even amount of games. Well, the teams are screwed." Forget that. Keep to the 16-team system, or just wait till next season. But because now you got to play an abbreviated season next season. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just totally, completely asinine. And then you add into the fact that certain teams that were playoff teams under this altered format were eligible in the draft lottery, and the Red Wings get the 4th pick, and now a playoff team, the Rangers, get the 1st overall pick. I am not happy. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit.
Wow. So no on the gameplay right there, Seth. Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the playoff. I mean, it created. I mean, from my perspective, it created a little more entertainment. Like, I didn't think there was any way the Canadians are going to beat the Penguins, but they did. I mean, also the Blackhawks was a little less shocking to me because the Blackhawks have some real talented players. I think they've just been underachieving lately. I don't know why. They just have, but I don't know. I think it's created a little more fun drama, I guess, at least from my perspective. I obviously not from your perspective, Seth, but it's the way I'm watching it. It's created some fun little drama for me.
He was kind of hiding how he really felt there, I think.
Well, to quote Derek Coleman, whoop-de-damn do.
All right. Fair enough. I mean, I ain't mad at it, so it's like
apparently that makes one of you. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, this is a good question. I know we talk a lot of football on the DSA, and I do a lot of football stuff with the Lions. So we're going to ask this question: how do you compare the fan perception of Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn to the perception of Steve Yzerman? Neither one has really won in Detroit yet, and Yzerman's just getting there. So we've had one crappy season under him, and we've had 2 crappy seasons under Patricia. And, well, not very been about 5 years under Quinn with mixed results. But I get the feeling, and what I'm asking in this is, I'm getting the feeling that one side, it's like very hopeful. Like Steve Yzerman's like, oh my God, we got Steve Yzerman. Everything is going to be fine. And then you go to the other side of it, and it's like, we got Patricia and Quinn. Boy, if we didn't have those guys, we might be able to win. I mean, it just seems like there's such a different dynamic to how the fans see both front offices and stuff like this. Now, if we wanted to go to head coach, I don't think anybody has that much confidence in Blashill, but you know what? If you do, just leave us a comment and stuff like that, because that's cool with me. We'll go to Seth first on this one. What do you see in this? What kind of a dynamic do you see between the Lions front office and the people they have and the Red Wing front office with Steve Yzerman?
Okay, well, if you're talking about the fans' perspective, perception. For one thing, with the Red Wings, this is a franchise that has had success and lots of it in this modern era. We saw the Wings win the Cup in 97, 98, 2002, 2008. And Yzerman, was such a big part of those teams as the captain for 3 and then as an executive for 4th. He was, for so long, one of the most beloved players, if not the most beloved player in Detroit. So it's like if you're in Detroit and you have a bad thing to say about Yzerman, that's like blasphemous. So, and then you look at how he was as a general manager in Tampa Bay. He did very well there. So when he came back, everyone was like, hooray, hooray, Stevie is back. He's going to save Detroit. He's going to save the Red Wings, bring us back to glory. So, and he has told fans repeatedly, be patient. Be patient. He said that a good 2-3 times. So a lot of people, at least I do, I appreciate his transparency. Whereas with Bob Quinn, on the other hand, well, first of all, it's a completely different dynamic with the Lions because they haven't won a playoff game since 1991, and that was the only one they've won since 1957. So it's just naturally all of this negativity. Jim Caldwell even mentioned how there's so much negativity. There's, so much negativity with fans that sometimes when I go to Lions groups, I have to stop reading because it'll make me, feel a certain way, make me sick. So with Bob Quinn, it seems that he hasn't been as transparent as Yzerman for one thing. You tell everyone that you fired Jim Caldwell because 9-7 wasn't good enough, that it's going to be about winning playoff games, contending for Super Bowls, and winning Super Bowls, and then you go and hire your boy who's as a first-time head coach. And you see how things have turned out. Either he was in over his head or he straight up lied to the fan base. Because if you look at other situations where teams are trying to take that next step and win a championship, you hire a proven guy with a good track record. You don't go and get Matt Patricia. You go and get someone like Andy Reid or Mike Tomlin or Mike McCarthy. You look at what the Red Wings did when they got Scotty Bowman, or the Pistons when they got Larry Brown. Those are the type of hires that you make. You don't get Matt Patricia. And I'm just, ay.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. What do you think, PD?
All right, so I'm just gonna be honest. I pretty much, I don't remember when it just happened where I just stopped reading comment sections because it would either make my head explode or it would just make my head explode because people just I don't know. It's so many hot takes and like it's such generic takes and they're impatient. But as far as I don't know if I can on the spot with this, but I just want to say this real fast. The 9-7 quote is the 9-7 isn't good enough quote never actually came out of Bob Quinn's mouth. He implied it, but the word 9-7 isn't good enough never actually came out of Bob Quinn's mouth. But I guess my thing is the fan perception. Like, I feel like people have like blind faith in Steve Yzerman. Like, don't get me wrong, they should have faith, but I feel like the amount of trust the fan base has in Yzerman is a little bit blind at times. Versus Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. Hold on 1 second. So I guess my thing is like, I feel like most people outside of the round, like the fan base is like split with the front office. The fan base is extremely split with the front office and the Lions organization. I don't think they're very split at all with the front office and the Red Wings organization because we have Steve Yzerman. Like, we all have faith in him. I have faith in him. I don't want to make it sound like I don't have faith in him because I do. But I don't know. I guess I it's hard to say because I stopped reading so many comment sections because they could get so toxic at times. But I don't know. I guess Red Wings fans are a little impatient. I think Red Wings fans are a little more impatient than we think they are.
Yeah,
Like,
there are some folks that want Blashill gone. I'll tell you that. They're wondering what Stevie is waiting for. I can back you up on that one.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I feel like Detroit fans have just become extreme. We're just extremely impatient right now. We want a winner. Like what? In 2019, I think that was the most losses ever suffered by one city when you combine all their major sports teams combined. I think that certainly plays a part in why fans are. We want to see some winning. We haven't seen a lot of winning lately. The Tigers were like the worst team. Red Wings weren't very good. Lions haven't been very good. And the Pistons weren't even all that good either. So, I mean, man, oh, man. No, I guess the similarities is that we're a little impatient. I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm not impatient because I'm more patient with the Red Wings because the writing's on the wall. I see exactly what's going on. For me personally, I'm a little more impatient with the Lions. Like, I need to see progress this year. I just need to see some progress this year. That's where I'm at. I don't think I answered the question, but that's pretty much my take, I guess.
That's okay. I think Seth brought up a good point where, Yzerman had went and done it somewhere else before, comes back, and he's a hometown hero anyway, so he is Detroit. So when you have Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, they're New England. Okay. So that's, they're not going to get embraced as well. They don't have the experience. And so I think that there is a whole different dynamic, and it's the team, because the Red Wings have a history of winning. They have won 11 Stanley Cups. And so, there's a difference. The Lions have won nothing, have 4 championships before there was a Super Bowl. And that to me, that's not good. You know what I mean? That's not good.
I have to disagree.
Huh?
I have to strongly disagree. 4 championships is pretty good, if you ask me.
Well, in 1957,
has it been in your lifetime though? That's the difference.
No,
has it been in anyone's lifetime?
No, it has not been in my lifetime. But I'm proud of the Lions' history.
And you know what? But the thing is, we're talking about Patricia and Quinn.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the team as it stands now, which has only won 1 playoff game since 1957.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And so that's what I'm talking about is if, like me personally, I'll just speak for myself. I'm 50, I'll be 51 in September. So for me, I've watched 40 some years of losing football pretty much, except for 1 year where we won 1 playoff game. See, that leaves a bad taste in your mouth, especially the older you get. And so if you look at it like that, you look at it like, wait a second, I don't trust anybody to change this thing around. And then you bring 2 guys in from a different organization again and trying to build a culture of somebody else again instead of our own team. I think that does have a big deal to do with why people aren't so on board with them, but they are so on board with Steve Yzerman because Steve Yzerman has produced. He's won championships in Detroit. He went to Tampa Bay, and he did very, very well turning that franchise around. And to come back here, he also has he also has a track record where Patricia and Quinn don't. So I think that makes sense. So that was a good point by Seth too.
Yeah.
If you got something else, BD, that's cool. Go ahead, man.
I think we're good. I mean, we're good. Like, there's nothing else to really say. We've had a tough recent history with the Lions, and we've had great recent history with the Red Wings. So that's pretty much all there is to really say, honestly.
Okay. All right. Seth, anything more to add, or are you good on that?
No, I'm good.
All right. So we're going to piggyback off that question with this question. It's what's a fair balance of criticism? Like should the fans be allowed to direct criticism towards the players and GMs? What's the balance with that? Like, It's hard to explain, actually.
I'll try to explain. So, like, I guess here's where I'm at. I think Seth will strongly disagree, but here's where I'm at. It's like, I want to talk about this because the reality is that, like, these players, these coaches, these GMs that we're criticizing, the reality is that if we could do a better job than they could, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it right now. We'd be in their spot doing it.
Well, maybe we should be.
No, I should not be.
Anybody who picks Terry Fair over Randy Moss, anybody who picks Eric Ebron over Aaron Donald, I'm talking about Lions right now, but absolutely boneheaded moves. Just boneheaded moves. You know, the fans were clamoring for different names, and they went ahead and did their own thing. I think sometimes the fans don't get enough credit. So I'm kind of on the other side of this one, PD.
All right, well, let's hear what you say. Let's listen to what you have to say first, Jim. Let's listen to the whole thing.
Well, that's fine. For me, I would have brought in right tackle Jack Conklin this year. And I'm not talking about Red Wings moves right now because, you know, we're just underway with the Yzerman thing. And so far, he's only made one trade that I really kind of question. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't have a lot of moves that I don't like. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to the Lions, and I know this is a hockey show, but I'm going to the Lions because that's the ones that I know screw up here. I mean, every year. Mike Williams, top 10 wide receiver. Okay. No, terrible wide receiver. Okay. We continually do stupid things. We kick players out, and then we have to repair the hole with someone else instead of just keeping those players and then building that team. We never build anything. We're constantly rebuilding because of stupidity. Just absolute stupidity.
All right. Do you have anything else?
Well, I might. Depends on what you say, but yeah, I might.
Well, I think
I want to answer that.
Yeah, Seth answer that.
No, don't worry about this. Don't worry about it. I'm not the one answering phones.
Well, or at least you mute your mic for a second so you don't hear it. But I guess it's tricky, dude. Like, in reality, we can't. I can't do what Bob Quinn does, no matter how much I disagree or agree with him. I can't. Like Jeff Blashill, I'm going to go with Jeff Blashill real fast. Dude, I could not coach a group of grown men, and I don't think I don't think. That's just a fact. I will never, ever be able to corral the troops and handle a group of grown men the way Jeff Blashill does. Like, we can – I don't think it's wrong to criticize what you see on the ice or what you see on the field or what you see on the court, but – I don't know. It's tricky.
Well, with the Red Wings, you knew this was coming. I mean, we knew this was coming. With the Lions, it's ongoing every year, all the time, from one to the next to the next to the next to the next, and never building anything really. You know, so that's my problem. Seth, are you with us?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you feel about this?
Kind of complex, but I guess I do feel like fans do have a right to criticize, but you do have a lot of you're right. You do have a lot of armchair coaches and GMs that, if they were in the position, they probably wouldn't be able to do any better. Like, I, for one, will admit that I do not try to be an armchair coach. That's why I haven't been so quick to criticize Jeff Blashill because, do I think I'd be able to do a better job than him as a coach? No, honestly not. I'm not an X's and O's kind of guy, for one thing. Not that I couldn't be, but that kind of thing gets to my nerves. I'd be more concerned about just getting the right guys out there that need to be out there for the right situation, and let my assistants handle the X's and O's. But I feel like, and this may sound really, really silly, I feel like from playing Madden, NHL games, and then also, learning from my father about certain strategies, I feel like I know how to think like a GM, so I'm able to, objectively analyze the type of moves that GMs would make from a more critical eye. So I would be a little bit more critical for GMs, I think, for that reason. Me personally, I can't speak for anyone else.
No, I like that take. I actually really like that take, honestly. Like being able to be more critical of GM. Like it's more fair to be critical of the GM than the head coach or the players or whatever like that. I actually agree with that a lot. But I don't know. Like I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't ever criticize your team. No, you should be highly critical of your team. You should be critical of your team. But I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it's like what's a fair balance of it. Because it is a slippery slope like that.
It's hard to say.
No, because go ahead.
I kind of think that that the fans pay, via watching the TV, buying merchandise, buying concessions, buying tickets. Somebody has to pay for all this stuff, right? And it's the fans that do that. So if the fans are the ones paying the bill, yeah, I think they have every right to criticize.
All right, even that's a fair take. Like I can't even be mad at anybody. I can't be mad at anybody's takes on this one because it's a tricky subject. No, I agree. That is a good point. Like you pay for the jerseys, you pay for the merch, you pay for the tickets,
you watch the TV, which creates ratings, which creates revenue from advertising.
Yep.
I mean, if we stop watching the games and stop, messing with it, they'd fold. After a while. I'm saying that in football it's a little bit different. In hockey, it's same thing. But I think that we do have a right as fans to be critical of what the heck's going on because we want a winner in our team, in our area. And so I think that's for me that's the biggest problem with people saying, well, fans don't know anything. Well, if they didn't know anything, they didn't want to pick Ebron for sure. You see, I don't have a terrible thing that the Red Wings have done under Yzer. So that's why I really don't have a lot to say against him because so far I'm pretty much on board with most of the things he's done. He made a minor trade here or there that didn't work out. So what? He's just trying to acquire talent right now.
Not every trade is going to work.
Right. Whether you're acquiring talent and assets for trade or whether you're acquiring talent to have that on your roster, you still got to try to stockpile talent and stockpile draft picks, and that's how you rebuild. And so, yeah, anything else on this one? This was a pretty good topic.
I don't know. It's a tricky topic. Like I don't want I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't criticize what is going on because, like you said, Jim, we put in the money. We take time out of our day. And I like to take time out of my day to watch my teams. I live, breathe, and die watching these teams. I love all my teams. And I don't mind taking time out of my day. I like taking time out of my day to watch my teams. But you should be critical, I guess. You should be able to criticize what you see on the TV, the ice, the field, the court, the baseball diamond, or whatever. I don't know. I guess my overall point, like, there's like a GM, they do more than just sign free agents and draft players. Like, they got to manage the cap. They got to do this. I think a GM does more than just, I would assume at least, that they do more than just draft players. And
well, they do free agency, trades, and the whole nine yards. They're building the team. They're the architects of the team.
Yeah, for sure. Well, honestly, I don't really think I have anything else to say because it's a trick.
Okay, PD's going to shut up for the rest of the show. All right, good. No, I'm just kidding. He said he didn't have anything else to say, so I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm
I'm rambling.
Like Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah. We're good.
This is a really good question, too. Do goalies deserve a win-loss record attached to their name? And this kind of goes back to the Osgood thing. We were talking about, Chris Osgood. Is he a great goaltender? Did he have great teams or is it both? Because your goaltender is such a heavily relied upon position, I think they should have win-loss records, of course, but also it's a team sport. If you don't have a defense, see Detroit, you're not going to have a great goaltender. You know what I mean? I mean, if you can't clear it out of your own zone, there's only so much a goalie can do, man. It just is only so much he can do. So it's a team effort. It's a team sport. It's like the quarterback in football, you know, like Matthew Stafford. Is it all his fault? No. Is it all Chris Osgood's fault? Or is it all Chris Osgood's, credit? Yeah, I was trying to find the word there. You know, and I think, honestly, it is a team game. And while your goaltender is probably the most important position on the ice, at least I think so. Without him, you know, they're just scoring over and over and over again. So that is one of the premier positions. And so you have to look at it like, okay, yeah, I mean, he's a good goaltender, but yeah, he has great defense too. It all works together, I believe. What do you think, PD?
So here's where I'm at. I feel like it gives too much credit to a goalie where it's not deserved, and it gives too much blame to a goalie where it's not deserved.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily mind it as a stat, but if that's the only argument that you're going to use to say goalie A is better than goalie B, then that's just an extremely lazy argument, and it's a cop-out. I mean, I don't entirely mind it as a stat, but the context of the record matters. Why are you like? You should judge the goalie based off what you see on film and his production, his save percentage, his goals allowed average, and stuff like that. Those are the three things that you should judge a goalie off first and foremost: his stats, and his film. Well, the film first, obviously, but it gives credit where it's not like, and sometimes it takes away credit, like with Osgood. Like I think, like with Osgood, like Hasek wasn't playing all that great in the 2008 playoffs. I think a lot of people forget that Hasek wasn't playing all that great in front of the same exact team that Osgood was playing with. And then Osgood came in and he stepped up, and he actually was a very key contributor to why the Red Wings were able to win so much, or why the Red Wings were able to win the Stanley Cup in that particular season. But I guess that's the other thing. Like when it comes to win-loss record, it feels like it's only useful when it's for the goal or against the goal you're arguing in favor of. Like, I don't mind if you use it, but the context behind it matters. Well, I guess here's another question for y'all. Would you rather have Terry Sawchuk with a trash team in front of him? I can't think of like a terrible goalie off the top of my head, honestly. Does anyone have any? Or would you? We'll just say terrible goalie. Or would you rather have a terrible goalie with an elite team in front of him?
Either way, it's bad. But we didn't, Seth. You didn't even answer the question yet, so we can't get to another question before he answers the first one.
Well, I'm not good. I wouldn't even want to answer the second question anyway because I think it's crap. I think no offense. I think that's a crap question. But I am a stats guy. So yes, I do like the idea of goalies having win-loss records attached to their career resume. You know, I think it's a cool stat. I like stats, but you do have to keep things into perspective because hockey is a team sport. So I think it is only somewhat indicative of how good the goalie is, but also very indicative of the team's success because even some of the Hall of Fame goalies may have had some bad years and not so great win-loss records. And then you even have those extreme cases where going back to the 95-96 season with the Calgary Flames, you had Rick Tabaracci and Trevor Kidd. Kidd had the better stats in terms of save percentage and goals against, but Tabaracci had a better win-loss record, which was kind of strange. So maybe the Flames scored more goals with Tabaracci, but that was a really weird deal. But PD Sports, you had touched on goals against and save percentage, in my opinion, goals against is more of a team stat. To me, save percentage is the ultimate indication of how good the goalie is, because that tells you how many goals, the percentage of time he makes saves on the shots that he's faced. Whereas goals against, that can be affected by how many shots they face, whether you have a good defense. So
I got
you
something.
kind of have to use that, view that with a grain of salt too. Goals against, that's more of a team stat.
Mm-hmm. I got something on this too. Instead of saying a terrible goalie, great goalie, whatever, let's use a mediocre goalie. Let's use a middle of the road. I can't even name a name. So it's like whatever.
Stefan Facette, maybe.
Who?
Stefan Facette.
Yeah. Okay.
The Avalanche. Yeah.
Take a middle of the road goaltender, put him on a great team, he automatically becomes better than he is. But you put him on a bad team, he automatically becomes worse than he is.
Yeah, no, actually, that's definitely a better way of wording it for sure. No,
so even goals against. So I'm going to go into the goals against thing because goals against is also situational. Okay. Because if you're giving up a lot of breakaways, you're giving up a lot of 2-on-1s or one on the goaltender because you're just terrible and you keep giving up those kind of plays, shorthanded goals, those situations where the goaltender's either 1-on-1 or 1-on-2, it's a shot on goal and he didn't save it. But what's the situation behind it? You know what I mean? If you're playing responsibly in your own zone, and your team is sound more fundamentally on their playoff or on their power play, things like that, you don't have those situations as much. You defend those situations better. Whereas the terrible teams, they give up a lot of odd man rushes. And so that makes your goals against average soar when, really it's not basically, I don't think it's your fault. Let's put it that way.
And then bad teams can give up a lot of big juicy rebounds too.
Absolutely. Oh, that awesome point. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I'm saying. So it's really hard to judge a goalie. It just is. It's just really hard to judge a goaltender nowadays. And even back then, because of the fact that it's such a team sport. You know what I'm saying? There's 5 other guys out there with you, And they have a responsibility. And if they don't take care of their responsibility, now you're doing their job and yours. It makes any position tougher, but especially goalie.
Oh, for sure. I guess I don't mind it, but the context behind why the record looks the way it does matters as well. So where was I going with this? I don't know. I don't even remember where I was going. Oh, now I remember. No, I forgot again. We're good.
That's all right.
I officially remember. Make sure you give the goalie the right amount of credit. Don't give him more than he deserves, and don't give him less than he deserves.
Makes sense. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense to me. Let's move on. We're going to do 2 players. One is a possible draft pick, and the other one is somebody currently on the team. So we're going to give our thoughts about prospect Marco Rossi of I can't remember, it's 76ers, 67ers or something like that.
67.
Yeah, out of Ottawa. And would you draft him if you were Steve Yzerman? Let's go to Seth first. He seems to know a lot more than I do about it. I'm just kidding.
All right.
I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, Jim, you were able to actually watch footage of him, which I haven't gotten to yet, but I'm sure I'll be greatly pleased. But from what I've read about him and from what you've described, Jim, he seems like a really good player. I'm not saying right now that he would definitely be the guy, but he would definitely be on my short list for sure. Sure, he's 5'9", but Darren Fleury was only 5'6". Right. And then I think Johnny Gaudreau, isn't he like 5'6", 5'7", something like that? Yeah. So he's not very big either. Mm-hmm. So yes, you do. You always like to have guys with size, but I like to think that no matter what size you are, how big you are. If you can play, you can play. If you can avoid getting hit, good on you. You're good enough to play on my team, in my opinion. Aside from that, he seems like the type of player that Eisman likes, the type of guys that Eisman went for in Tampa and that he played for in Detroit. Versatile guys who know how to play hockey, multifaceted, good skaters, can shoot the puck, can also pay attention and play good defense, good all-around guys. So Rossi definitely fits that description, and I definitely wouldn't be disappointed one bit if the Wings were able to draft him and did draft him. I'd definitely be happy with Rossi in the fold. You can't go wrong with him. And from what I'm hearing, he may be, everyone's talking about Lafreniere, but from what I'm gathering, Rossi might actually be the sleeper guy in terms of who may actually be the best player in the draft, quietly kept.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on this either.
Yeah.
Like you were going to say,
I'm done.
Go ahead, Seth.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right. So PD, what's your take on Marco Rossi?
I think he is he has insane vision. He's a very good passer, and he doesn't even have that bad of a shot either. I think he's a very complete hockey player. He can force the defense into mistakes. And as far as his passing, this might be a stretch, but I would almost go as far as to say that his ice vision reminds me of like a Pavel Datsyuk or an Igor Larionov.
Wow, high praise.
Yeah.
Would you say Adam Oates?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch a little bit of that.
For Jim.
I would say his translation to the NHL would probably be better than Adam Oates.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I do.
That's saying something.
He's a really good skater. I mean, his speed, vision, acceleration, outstanding agility, edge work is really, really good. I mean, he's very, very, very good at what he does. So what he did last year, he scored 39 goals and 81 assists for 120 points in just 56 games.
I guess I was talking more in terms of his playmaking. So I guess, you're talking about
I'm saying playmaking. I'm saying he's got the whole package, though. Do you know what I mean? Playmaker, man, how many people can you name that can get it into the high slot with accuracy just about every time? That's hard. That's a hard pass.
Yeah, no, I feel like Rossi does that extremely well. Like I cannot.
He does.
So accurate, and it's just so perfect. There's nothing. His pass is insane, dude.
He's small, but he's strong. Because I watched him and I'm like, dang, people bounce off this dude. It's crazy. He's a low center of gravity. His legs are extremely strong. He's good at cycling. You know what I'm saying? Getting around the net and getting in the dirty areas and actually doing that type of work too. It's really hard to get this guy off the puck. He's strong along the boards. And there's a lot to like about this guy. His ability to create himself or to be able to pass. If you got a guy that you know is always going to pass, you can take out the passing lanes. But if you got a guy that can score, that's a centerman, you don't know where he's going. And that gives you the advantage.
Yeah.
The defense has to back off because he's so fast, right? So he takes advantage of that. And then he has a really quick wrist shot, excellent release. And when defenders back off, he can use them as a screen to fire the shot off because they have to back off because of his speed. He's good defensively, as well. I mean, he's able to kill penalties. He's one of those guys that could get down and get what I was talking about before, shorthanded goals, things like that.
That's good.
I'm going to compare him to somebody right now. And like I said, top end, higher than Adam Oates. But right now, Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning would be his comparison right now at the level he's at. But he works hard on both ends of the ice, and he's I want a true centerman. I mean, we've got Larkin at center. I think he's a better winger than he is a center. He is a true center, but for some reason, I don't think it's his best position. I don't. I like Rossi there, and I like to get him in the first line, and I'd like to get Valeno on the second line, or if we get Svechnikov and he comes up, and maybe he can take that center over on the third line. Maybe have 3 scoring lines. Who knows, man? All I'm saying is this guy could fit right in top line in about 2 years, probably.
Wow. No, I don't even disagree. I think Rossi could be a good player for us. Obviously, this is the first draft prospect that we talked about draft prospects a while ago, but this is the first time we've just talked nothing about him. But I wouldn't mind at all if Eisman drafted him.
Not at all. He's. I mean, there's 2 players that I want, and Drysdale, the defenseman, because I think his pairing with Seider would be a long-term thing, and probably one of the best defensive duos in hockey after a while. I don't think right away, but after a while. And this kid is really, really good, though. I think this kid is special. I do. And Lafreniere, he may be the cream of the crop or whatever, and we didn't get him because we got screwed. But I think this kid is worth a look. I really do. The Maniac Report says, "Let's go Red Wings." That's my buddy Tim.
Yep. What's up, Tim?
We haven't seen him in the chat very long. Shout out to Domus J, who's in the chat, and we had Detroit Drew in earlier, so a shout out to those guys. But we're talking about this team, and it's so much. I honestly think there's a lot to be excited about with this team. I think it's a lot different than what people think. We're going to have a couple bad years, but look at the talent that we got coming up. I mean, if we could draft either him or Drysdale, somebody like that. Just the talent that we're going to have later is very, very impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's how you build superstars in this league. You don't get them through free agency. You home grow those guys, and that's what we have to do. And we have to be patient while they're growing. That's the part that's difficult for the fans. Is you got to be patient. You can't just say, "Oh, we're not good right now." So no, you're not going to be good for a while. This is a rebuild. This was announced as a rebuild. This is the way it is. So, guys, be patient. Been preaching this every single week. Be patient. Steve Yzerman knows what he's doing. We're going to get back to where we need to be. And would you honestly want to just make it to the playoffs and get crushed every single year? Because that's what we were doing,
Yeah.
That's all we were doing is we're protecting the damn streak.
Save the streak, preserve the streak, save the streak. That's what it was all about. Who knows what may happen in the playoffs, but by golly, save the streak. That was what it was about the last few years. It was no
just
longer
enough
about,
to get in the playoffs. That's all it was.
It was no longer about Stanley Cup or bust.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you.
That's how we had that great playoff streak in the first place, because it was about winning the Stanley Cup.
And how did we get our core players before? Look at Yzerman. Look at all these other things. The draft, yeah. Zetterberg late rounds, Datsuk late round.
Yep.
So look, don't write off all these guys that they drafted before, because keep forgetting that goaltender's name. I'll do it every week because I won't remember it this week. But yeah, that guy's good, and he was the last pick overall for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So one more thing this week, and then if we have questions in the chat, we will go to them. If we do not have questions today, we will head out. So last one for the day, guys. We're going to do a little deep dive, and everyone's supposed to kind of look this guy up, is Filip Hronek. And a good defenseman for the Red Wings. I have all my stuff on him, so I will go to PD first.
All right, so Hronek this year, he had 9 goals, 22 assists, and 31 points in 65 games. He puts himself in pretty good positions. Does his job. I don't know, Jim. I don't know if you're going to agree or disagree on this, but I almost feel like he's more of an offensive defenseman than a defensive defenseman. But
yeah, I mean, but I think he plays a good defensive game as well. I mean, he's only 6 foot, 183 pounds. So, but he's really young yet. That's the whole thing.
yeah, you're right. You're always that's a good point. I keep forgetting how that some of these players.
He's only 22 years old.
Yeah, I always forget that these players are young. I don't know why. I always space that fact out. Like we have young players; they're not finished. They're by no means finished products. No, but I like Kroenig as a player. I think he does a good job. Like I said, I think maybe his defensive game maybe could use a little work. Like I guess the film I watched before this week, like I mean, granted it was Pasternak of the Bruins, and that guy's a beast. I don't know. I just feel like I remember watching his film and just watching him get completely blown by kind of a lot by certain players. But I don't know. I'll let you say what you have to say, Jim, when you get to there.
Oh, we'll go to Seth first.
Wait. Okay, first off, I'm not going to be all that harsh on Hronek. Defensively, okay, even the best defenseman will get beat by certain players. I mean, for crying out loud. Like, I remember, I think Ray Bourque made Ray Bourque look stupid against a rookie Mario Lemieux, for crying out loud. So you can't expect perfect. But from what I gather about Hronek, he, from what everyone's saying, Mickey Redmond and all of the analysts, he's very sound defensively. He's not going to be a Norris Trophy caliber defenseman, but I feel like he's developing into a very solid blue liner who could play on the first or second pair. If he's on the first pair, maybe have him as your number 2 defenseman, but more ideally, for a deeper team, have him on your second pair. He'd be really good on that pair. He's a good, effective two-way defenseman who's not really going to be all that flashy, not really going to steal a lot of headlines. In fact, I feel like the less you talk about him, that actually means that he's doing his job. So I feel like he's one of those good, solid guys to have on your team to be quietly part of your core, but, very valuable in that regard.
I like Hronek actually a lot. He's only 22 years old, 6 foot, 183 pounds. He's from the Czech Republic. So he plays more of a Euro style of hockey, which means he's going to be more of an offensive defenseman than a defensive defense. But I think he actually plays both pretty well. I believe also, like you do, that he's more of an offensive defenseman, and that's fine. You need those guys who can get the puck up. That's the problem the Red Wings have had for a long time. They can't get the puck out of their own damn zone. And it's just the truth. These guys were awful at it, I mean, I watched a game one time. It was literally 5 minutes and they couldn't get it out of their own zone. I'm like, what the hell, man? This is terrible. So it's like, okay, so they're building around, this new type of defenseman. But the things Hronek does well, to me, is the offensive play, the puck handling. He knows he's not out of position too many times. I don't think. I thought he like I said, he's a kid, and he's still doing very, very well.
Yeah.
So between Grand Rapids and the Red Wings, he had 23 points, 5 goals, 18 assists. This is 2018. So after the Red Wings, they didn't make the playoffs that year. So of course, because we would suck for a while now. So he played for the Czech Republic, and he was named the tournament's best defenseman.
Ooh,
at that young. And that's the big deal. He averaged 23 minutes and 54 seconds per game on the ice. You don't give a young kid that much ice time if he can't play defense. And he's a defense. So I think he's more of a well-rounded defenseman, and I like his skill. I really do. I think that he's going to be part of the blue line brigade for quite a while. Or and don't kill me for this. Or he's a trade chip. I'm just saying.
Maybe. But just imagine, though, for a minute, let's say the Wings draft Drysdale instead of Rossi. I'm not saying they will. But he and Sider end up forming that dominant blue line tandem on your first pairing. Just imagine having Heroic on your second pair with maybe De Kaiser or whoever else if we were able to get someone else. Imagine that. I think that would be a very deep blue line.
Yeah, I think we have because we did draft a lot. People forget how many defensemen we drafted in the last draft too, that are coming up. So we are going to go from a terrible defense to a really good defense, and I think fairly soon, probably in the next 2-3 years. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Fairly soon, because you got so many people that can play defense that are in the system right now.
Yeah.
That was one of the main focuses I thought of Yzerman's draft last year.
Oh, no, for sure.
And I had misspoke. I said there wasn't another question, but there actually is. And I didn't get this question. That's why I said, oh, there's no more questions, because I'm dumb. And anyway, we all kind of know that anyway. But anyway, we have another question, and this question is coming from Seth Walker, so I will have him ask the question.
All right, this is another question in the wonderful world of what if. All right, let's go back to the 1989 draft, the draft that is probably the most celebrated draft in Red Wings history, where we got Sergei Fedorov in the 4th round, Nicholas Lidstrom in the 3rd round, Dallas Drake in the 6th round, Vladimir Konstantinov in the 11th round. We got 2 more players in that draft in the first 2 rounds. Mike Sillinger and Bob Boner, who are also NHL level players, though Boner never actually played for the Red Wings, but still he made it into the league as a late bloomer with the Panthers, and then he later played with the Sabres. But anyway, the point is, as good as that draft was, it could have been even better, because the Red Wings that year were looking to draft Pavel Bure, yes, Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket himself, in the 5th round. But they were told by the league that they couldn't draft him because he was ineligible. The Canucks drafted him anyway in the 6th round, and then the league waited almost a full year later before deciding that Bure was eligible after all. So the Red Wings basically got screwed in not being able to draft Bure in 1989. My question is, how would this have affected the Red Wings' fortunes in the years going forward had the Wings been able to draft Bure, assuming that they still, get Konstantinov and Kozlov the following year, and they still have everyone else that made it up to the team?
And I have no idea about this question really, so I'm going to go to PD.
All right. In all honesty, here's what I think. I think this move may have, if we would have drafted Bure, we may have had an extra Stanley Cup or 2, honestly. However, this is another big thing. We may not ever get Larionov if we do this, and we may never get Shanahan.
I thought of that.
But it's tricky. But it's tricky to say. Like, these what ifs are so interesting. Like, the butterfly effect is so intense when looking on the past. Is it going to change things for the better, or is it going to change things for the worse? We had a great run. This team had a great run for us during the 90s when we won back-to-back Stanley Cups, and even in 2002. However, now I think we would have ended our Stanley Cup drought a little sooner had we been able to take Bure. I don't remember who he took in the 5th round, but no, I think that would have been a huge move for us, and they would, since he was Russian, he would have fitted right in with the Russian players. Like when Larionov came in, they just fit. It wasn't even, they didn't even think about it. He just fitted naturally. You just felt how great the chemistry was right off the bat, and I feel like it would have been the same thing with Bure.
I mean, for me, can you imagine Fedorov and Bure on the same team? That almost isn't fair. I mean, I think it would have been. I think it would have led to more Stanley Cups. But I do agree with your point. I don't think we go and get Shanahan. I don't think we go and get Shanahan. I don't think we get Larionov either. We might get Larionov to build on that Russian concept, but I pretty much guarantee we don't get Shanahan because we would have had to re-sign Bure, all that.
the interesting thing is you brought up, do we end up with Lariano because we traded Shepard for him? If we draft Burray, do the Wings sign Shepard a few years after that? The trade chip that we used to get Lariano.
Right. Well, there could have been other trade chips to get him, I would imagine, because he wasn't thought of as that great of a player, I didn't think.
What, Shepard?
Yeah.
No, I remember when in the Russian 5, they were saying that the people within the office were not happy when they gave up Shepard.
Right, I get that.
He had 40 goals a year.
Yeah, I mean, he was good. I'm not saying he wasn't good. I'm just saying that the piece that we got for him created that situation in Detroit where it was that passing was just amazing between those players.
Yeah, Shepard could score goals. Yeah, Shepard could score goals, but he couldn't really do anything else.
Right. And I'm not saying that goal scoring isn't valuable because we all know that today. But
right.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. I mean, you're right about that. So if we don't even have the trade chip, do we even get Larionov? Do we even go after him if we have Bure? I don't know.
Well, here's, I guess, another question. If we get Bure, do we even need Larionov at that point?
Right. That's another good question because I don't know.
But let's assume that we still draft Primo with the 3rd pick the following year instead of Jaromir Jagr. That's a completely different what if.
Wow. See, look if we would have got Bure and Jagr back to back years. Oh my God.
Well, what I'm saying is if you still draft Primo, you could still maybe potentially trade for Shanahan later on down the road. But yes, Bure and Jagr, that would have been oh my goodness. Like it would have seemed like embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, it really would have been. And that's kind of the thing though. Yeah, my goodness. I mean, they could have had an even bigger dynasty than they had. They really could have.
No, I agree.
So very interesting question, Seth. I always like your what if scenarios. It's just hard for me because there's so many ramifications about that. If this happens and we drafted this one, well, then we wouldn't have got this guy. And then if we didn't get this guy later on, we don't get this guy. You know how that goes. So there's just so many things that are changed because of one move. Isn't that crazy?
So I guess I kind of sort of combined 2 what ifs into one.
Yeah, but it was awesome to think about. Think about Jaromir Jagr, Pavel Bure as the Russian 5 with all the other guys, and then think about, oh my God, where would you fit Jagr into that second line? I mean, come on, what do you do?
With Yzerman.
Yeah, put him with Yzerman. Oh my God, what a team that would have been. That team might have rivaled the Oilers. Being serious, that team might have rivaled the Oilers in their day.
Or the Islanders in the early 80s.
Yeah, with Trottier and Potvin and all those guys. But yeah, Bossy, Mike Bossy. Yeah. And my goalie, Billy Smith.
Oh, yeah. Your guy.
My guy. You ever remember Seth, you might remember Clark Gillies. Do you remember him? Big enforcer dude for the Islanders.
He was he could score and also was a fighter too. He did a little bit of everything. Yeah, he was part of that line.
Love that guy.
With Trottier and Bossy. So
yep.
I think he was like a 30-goal guy if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember that, but it could be. I remember him fighting more than anything else. But he could score too, but he was a good fighter. Oh, man. So here we go, guys. I think it's time to look at the chat. I don't see any questions in there. Let me check my Facebook group real quick. And doesn't look like there's anything in here either. Let me see. I don't have any questions there either. So let's go to final thoughts, guys. What do you think? I'm going to ask you this. What do you think about next week's show and having a former Red Wing in the building with us?
It's going to be fun time. I'm speechless, honestly. I'm going to talk to an actual NHL player. It's going to be It's gonna be insane, honestly. I don't even know how to feel about it. I don't even know what to ask him, but I'm sure hopefully I'll be able to come up with something.
Oh, you will, man. You will. What do you think, Seth?
Well, I'm gonna have to do my homework, ask him make sure to ask him some good questions.
Yeah.
It will be a great experience to have Mr. Jason Williams on the team. Maybe ask him. No, wait. Actually, I shouldn't give away any questions I'm going to ask, or even
No, don't do
considering
that. Whoa, we got to wait till next week for that, guy.
So yeah.
So I
So
want
no, I'm not gonna kiss and tell. Not this week. But
all right.
but please tune in to next week's show when we have Jason Williams on board, and also go to DetroitSportsAlliance.com for my Red Wings anthology. I will be working on the next part of my series, part 5, I believe it will be, where I look back at the 1985-86 season, which was a pretty disastrous season. But there will be light at the end of the tunnel, which, things will get a little bit better after that. So please be on the lookout for that too. You heard it from me, Seth Walker.
All right, Seth Walker in the building. And, just final thoughts from me for next week. It was really nice of Jason to do this for us, and we really appreciate it. So it's going to be a big show, everybody. I want you to tune into that. But tonight, I don't know. I don't think they gave me a time. It's either 7 or 8. I don't really know. I hate to do that, but I don't know what time it is. It's on JMO's channel. Huh?
I can tell you right now, I think 7:30.
7:30. See, you know what? It's just doing your research. I mean, I should be listening. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You're good.
7:30 tonight, JMO's channel. It's Above the Rim. It's Pistons talking. There's a bunch going on with the Pistons. It's going to be a great show, so check them out. For everybody, my final thoughts this week is I just appreciate being able to do this show with these two gentlemen here. It's been a good, fun time, and I appreciate everybody that showed up today. Also, I wanted to tell thanks, Tim. He said, good job, guys. So I'm like, thanks, Tim. So next week, Jason Williams will be in the building, and we appreciate each and every one of you and all your support. So thank you, and you guys have a great week. We're out.